Now that we've checked our tags, we're going to move on to the logical reading order. And we're kind of working from the bottom up on this list rather than top down, just to give you an idea of some of the content that's in here, since we started with reports and the accessibility checker. So tags is on the bottom, looks like the shopping tag. Reading order. This is actually a new icon, at least for me. Your interface may look different. Sometimes the older versions of Adobe Acrobat didn't have a button for reading order. You typically had to go into a properties menu. But now that they've added that, it is a lot easier. If we click on the reading order button, we get the order toolbar that slides out, and it shows us here's our generic document, the page, overall page. But then in the steps 1 through 6, it lists the order of what items it's going to read. And this is great because we can click through this. It's going to highlight each of the items that we're looking for. And so it's going to say, it's not telling you what individual piece of the items. So like under section 5, it's just saying it's going to read section 5. If you want to tweak something about the reading order, you can right click on pretty much any part of this reading order and click on show the reading order panel. And in the reading order panel, this is another quick way to format certain things. We can click the show order panel. That's where we already are. But we can change some of the stuff, structure types. I'm not going to tweak any of that because I don't want my view to change. But you can select content in here. So if I wanted to change meeting name agenda, it's going to look for every character here, and I'll show you why in just a little bit. But it's going to take each of those characters, and now we can change them. Say if we want that M to be a heading, but the N to be something different, we could change all that. We don't want to do that because we want them grouped together as is. Next up is the content. And I'm going to combine these together just because the reading order and the content kind of go hand in hand. Tags do as well, but that was kind of complex. It was its own thing. So content is very interesting because we're used to doing that from a word perspective. We're talking about alt text and things like that. So the content is the stuff in your document. But you might notice here, this container that says artifact, that's actually blank stuff, things we don't want the screen reader to read. So if I had an image here and we don't want the screen reader to read that, we would mark it as an artifact. Luckily, because we did this in Word and Adobe pulled that over, it's going to realize that this is an artifact. And again, that's just their kind of word for alt text or skip. But we can see as we drill through this, if we click on each thing that says text, these are all the spaces in the document between each piece of text, between each, if you did a tab or anything like that, it's going to generate that as an artifact. So it knows that screen reader needs to skip it. But we also see formatting here. So under this container for our table here with location, meeting name, and agenda, it's got all of that listed. And none of this is artifacts because it's kind of grouped them together. But we can right click on that, look at the properties of it. We can see the content. This is set as a figure, but we can also see the IDs associated. So if you get an error report about a specific ID, you can find that here and you'll know what you're looking at. You can also edit the three main issues for this content, the tag, attribute objects, and attribute classes from this one menu. That way you don't have to skip between all the different menus and remember where you were. You can tweak it all from here. You probably don't want to go that crazy with it. If you're having to dig that deep, it's honestly easier to go back to your Word document typically, and then tweak the changes, tweak the formatting, and then export that as a PDF file. So we're just going down through our different containers. Again, this is just how it's how it's organized. But you can see how this has additional information. Here's all the different letters in additional information, but it's tweaked them as individual little objects that can be tweaked. So if we wanted to change the content, I highly recommend not doing that. But you can see just how off the rails that can go. If you're doing this from scratch, if you do a lot of manual editing, go back to your document authoring software and make those changes if you can. If you have to, you can go in here, you can expand these out, and you can change the properties. But that's definitely going to be, and luckily it already says it's a paragraph, so it's not going to try to read the DDI as a heading, so it knows it's a paragraph, but this has its own individual ID. And again, this is just because of how Adobe pulled it in. If I use Word's accessibility checker, it's not going to find anything wrong with that, and the screen reader is going to be able to read it a lot better. But PDFs are typically meant for printing. So that's why these tools exist here. For people who are using a PDF reader, they wouldn't be able to read it with Word. They need a PDF reader to read that.